Now let's go to a top 3 ballpark and the top team in the National League Central. Drew Maggi joining us from the Pittsburgh Pirates, the story of the week, if not the year. Drew, great to have you on, man. What a freaking week it's been for you. Do you wake up right now in the mornings and go, holy shit, I'm a big leaguer?
Yeah, I mean, I look out the window every day. I'm like, all right, I'm still here. I'm still alive. This is real. So it's been cool, man.
It is really cool. It is. Congratulations, Drew. I mean, it's like you didn't have a baby, but it was pretty close. Like you were pregnant for about 9 years waiting to make it to the big leagues, and you made it. Take us to that moment in. Was that an indie clubhouse? Because you guys were wearing the white unis, but it looked like a tiny clubhouse. Where were you guys at when you got called up?
No, and Brock knows this.
Toontown.
I was in Toontown. I was in Altoona
Altoona.
grinding in Double A. So it was kind of like
That's grinder.
it was like the darkest hour, you know. So it's kind of like, it gets the darkest before the dawn type moment because I mean, it was tough going back. I hadn't been there in about 10 years, so when I first got there, there was like some serious trauma going on, but I got through it. It was it was tough there too because and Brock knows this, like my manager told me like 3 days before that I was gonna be playing 3 days a week. It was gonna be tough to get you in there, kind of performance thing. If I play well, get a little more playing time. So I was dealing with that. So it was kind of, I mean, it was just extremely unexpected. I mean, I was actually late to that meeting. That's why when you see it, everyone's dressed and I got my shirt. I had just rolled in there. So everyone's like, what are you doing? And Double A, you have meeting after meeting. And
Oh,
I'm like, what is this about? What do we got? And it ended up being that. And I mean,
you
it was
quickly put
cool.
your shirt back on and got the heck out of there. So get me out of Altoona. I was in Altoona for 2 years. And dude, Drew, I want to freaking hug you through the screen, man. Like I couldn't be more proud of you. Um, Dude, I almost shed tears. I was locked in yesterday in the Pirates game. I haven't watched a Pirate game in my entire life. I played for him in September in 2012, and I don't even think I watched the games when I was on the team. But I was locked in to the TV yesterday watching your at bats, man. I couldn't be more happy for you. Glad I got to be on this show. They told me you were going to be on. I was pumped. But talk me through, because, dude, I wanted to quit. You see, I got drafted in 2009. I was in Double A in 2011. Then I repeated again in 2012. Was pretty much there the whole season, and I was ready to hang them up after 3 years. And talk to me about some of the difficult times. Did you go through those moments where you're like, I can't do it anymore? And how did you keep
Um,
going, man? I have so much respect for you as a person, as a player, and yeah, I just want to know more about it, man, because mad,
yeah.
mad, mad respect.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, it means a lot coming from you, especially. I mean, I was there when you were grinding, you were raking, and everyone's like, when we call him Brock, like, let's get this guy on the move, like he's ready. And so, I mean, yeah, you get it. I mean, I wanted to quit pretty much every year, honestly. Every off season, I mean, it was tough just going through the process of being a free agent, not getting any calls. I mean, my agent told me to retire 8 years ago. He was like,
Did
you
you
got anything
fire
else
him?
you can do?" No, because I was I was at that age where
Yeah.
I couldn't get another agent. He was still, getting me cleats every year. It would take 3 months, but it was
Yeah.
it was yeah. So I mean, it was every year. It was just a battle to kind of keep going, and something would always happen along the way. Like I would get a late call in like February, like, hey, we want to bring you in minor league camp. And I kept myself in shape. I was always work. I always like thought deep down in in my head, as stupid as it probably was, that because I know how hard it is to get to the big leagues, especially as you get older. I would just be like, I'm gonna give it one more shot. I'll grind out another year because I love the clubhouse, I love the guys, and obviously I love baseball. So I just kept pushing forward. And I mean, yeah, there was a lot of times, I mean, even in season when you're struggling, body's hurting, you just want to go home, you're in some, city that you've never heard of. And so I just kept going and, kept getting opportunities. And, I never expected any of this to happen. Obviously I always like deep down was like, maybe something will happen, someone will give you a shot, but I didn't expect any of this to happen. So I'm just thankful, man. This is a cool experience for me. And I'm happy. My parents were there, brothers, sisters. So it was just, it's all been so cool. It's cool, man.
The stadium was chanting your name. Are you kidding me? How badass, dude! I mean, I'm telling you, dude. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm almost starting to cry right now, dude. Just thinking about it. Like, dude, I could not be more happy for you, man.
I
Like,
I didn't
that's
know what
that's
to do
real.
either.
Yeah,
I
and you got a
did,
strike called on you, dude. Get in the
I
box and
know.
swing the bat. You
I
know?
know. Dude, I got to figure that out. I think I'm just gonna stand in there. I
Yeah,
always forget. I'm like, I get out and I'm like, all right, what's he gonna throw me? And then I look up and it's at 10 seconds, and I'm like, oh, and I like panic and get in.
man,
But
unbelievable.
I don't even know
it's
how
good.
to like your old roommates on here, Brock's on here. Like, I don't know how to even start like with all my questions because I I lived your life, but you lived it for 4 more years. Like you, so to, I would only want to, whatever we talk about today, I just want to encourage you to like keep going because there is so much awesome that you can provide for the people in your life, but also on the teams that you play on. Because I'm looking at like what you went through. So I'm just going to break it up into like little pieces. Dude, you were in a dark time in Pirates history to be in the minor leagues. Like that was I finished with the Pirates in '09 and 10 in the minor leagues, and they were bringing some stuff in that I was like,
Oh, so
"You're gonna do
yeah,
what?"
Yeah. Well,
Like people
yeah.
don't.
I was there. Yeah, it was bad.
Brock, like people don't know unless you were in it. Like you talk about meetings. You led all of baseball in meetings. They had meetings on meetings about meetings. And you guys were like, so talk about that like 6 years of purgatory that you were in, but then to make the big leagues with that same team 10 years later after they canned you and they didn't play you because they were only giving you 300, 250, 350, and then you finally got out of the organization and you get 420 at bats finally. Like,
Yeah,
talk about that.
yeah, it was. I mean, so yeah, you and Brock know it was. I mean, it was meetings on end. There was room checks. I mean, you had to be clean shaven, pants up, same cleats. I mean, it was just like a lot of. It didn't feel like baseball a lot of times. And yeah, every year, I mean, I'd go into the season and I'd basically sit for the first month and a half, 2 months. They'd never play me. And then it was a type of thing where there was like zero communication too, which was the worst part. They just kind of tell you, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get you in there," and you're playing once a week. So there was just I had no shot with them, and I knew that pretty early. But I mean, what are you gonna do as a you know minor league or minor league guy? You can't really get traded or ask for your release because they don't give it to you. But yeah, I mean those first 5 years, I remember being shocked because you think about professional baseball. You don't think that you're going to get a knock on your door at 3 a.m. and someone's going to come in and make sure your bathroom's organized and your shirts are folded. And then there was curfews. It felt like they were big into like the Navy SEAL stuff. So it was uh it was like boot camp every year. By the time you got into the season, it was you were dead tired from the spring trainings. But you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's pretty cool that it kind of went full circle because this is my first team. I was at PNC when I first signed. I was there with my parents, and it was obviously a cool stadium. And so that was my original dream when I first started playing was, okay, I want to play at PNC. This is the team that believes in me the most. And then obviously I moved on from them and kind of, X'd them off my list, and then, went through that journey with 5 other clubs, grinding. And then last year, I was having a tough season in Lehigh Valley and with the Phillies. And a little bit into August, I got a call after a game and I was struggling. And it was our manager, and he goes, "Hey, Madge, I need to see you in my office." And from that point, I'm like, so many things are going through my head. I'm like, okay, what did I do? What did I do last night? What did I do something? Did I say something? So then I'm like, oh, I mean, this is like a release type scenario, after the game, unless I'm going to the big leagues, but I'm hitting 180 with no production. So he calls me in, pours me a glass of whiskey, and I'm like, okay, this is not good. And so we're sipping on it, and I'm like, what's up? And he's like, hey, you got traded. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I've never been traded before. I said, so I go, to who? And he said, the Pirates. And I go, no shit. I go, what? Uh, And and then I looked up the staff, and it was Miggy, who Brock, I think you played for or played with, and then Greeny was on the staff. So
Greeny.
it was, yeah, Greeny, he was the bench coach.
What a guy.
So I know. So yeah, it was cool too. So I went there in Indy and I did all right, and they ended up liking me. And then the off season's a whole different story. That's a good story. But yeah, so it was cool that, I got to play in PNC obviously, and, fulfill that dream that I've had for, 13 years.
What's that story? What's the off-season story? You can't just not. I mean, this is
Yeah,
a
so that's a
story.
good.
This is a
You want to
story
hear it?
book.
Say it's a good story and then not tell the story, Matt.
Yeah,
Come
like
on.
Okay,
that's
okay. I just didn't know
tease.
I was talking for so long.
No, dude, this is why
Uh,
we have you on the show, man. We want to know everything.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, when you first become a free agent, obviously they send out a calls, and my agent calls me, early in the off season, and it's so funny. So he gets on the phone. I go, "Hey, Alan, what's up?" I'm on the golf course, and he goes, "Hey, crazy thing. I put out my client list, and you were my first call." And I'm like, okay, Alan, I don't need to hear this right now. All right. I go, what do we got? Who is it? And he said, the Pirates. And I go, all right, well, what's the offer? He goes, oh, I don't know. I go, what? I go, all right, let me, what are you talking? What do you mean you don't know the offer? I go, can you get the offer, please? And can you see if I can go to camp? And he gives me I don't know about camp. You know how tough that is. It's for, kind of their guys and the prospects. And I go, all right, Alan. Few choice words I used there. I was like, I'll take care of it. So I called Greeny, and I go, Greeny, hey, what's the deal? And he's like, hey, Matt, we want you back. We had you in the last month, and you really made a difference in the clubhouse. Um, we'd love to have you back as like a culture veteran guy for our younger guys. And I told him, um, all right, Greeny, well, here's my pitch. I go, you know, I, you guys want me back for all this culture and the kind of the edge that I bring. Let me come into camp and like see if I can, bring that edge and, maybe help out some of the younger guys. up in the big leagues also give me a little bit of street cred with, a little respect to the younger guys who don't really know me, kind of I'm around them a little bit more. And he's like, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Let me talk to some people. So about 2 days later, I get a call and they say, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. I forgot who it was. And he goes, I go, who? I go, who is this? And he's like, oh, I'm with the Pirates. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, what's up, man? And he's like, hey, I heard you got a pitch for me. So, I ran him through that pitch. And he goes, all right, you're going to camp. And in my head, I was like, holy hell, I can't believe that just worked. So I went to camp. And, I ended up having a really good camp, kind of back ending a lot of games and, met some good, the staff with the Pirates is awesome. Everyone's great. The team was great. I ended up, just kind of, having a good camp. And then of course at the end of camp, I got the boot to Altoona. So it was almost like on this high and then just completely, back to reality in Altoona, and then so yeah, that's the story.
Yeah, but was that? I mean, like, how much sooner? Because you spoke up for yourself. Was that the first time in your career that you spoke up for yourself, and you're like, dude, I'm just gonna take care of this because I'm a grown ass man. I'm
Yeah,
gonna take care of this. How much sooner do you feel like you could have been in the big leagues had you done this before?
there was a couple times that I kind of outspoke and just was like, what's the deal? Like, get me in there. I'm better. Let's go. And it never worked. I'd always, it almost hurt me, and no one would. They give you that awkward kind of look, and then no one talks to you, and then you have that awkward vibe, and you're kind of like, all right, like you guys can't handle it. So a lot of times it just didn't work. So, but I got to a point. The past like few years, I've kind of had a don't really give a crap mentality, toward things. So, I was just kind of playing baseball. I loved it, loved the guys, and everything else was just more. I don't care what I say, what I do, because really, I got nothing to lose.
I have one. I know these guys want to jump back in. I have one. What's it been like in the big league clubhouse? I mean, you've got a guy like Andrew McCutchen there and some other vets that they signed this year, like a Rich Hill. Have you had conversations with these guys? Have they come up to you and been like our guys are? Like, holy shit, dude. What a story.
Yeah, you know, yeah, the love that I've received and just just everyone's kind of wow, you know, mad respect for you and everything you went through. The clubhouse is, there's a reason why we're winning games right now. Kutch is, that guy. My locker was next to him, and he's just, he's down to earth. He's the man. And then Rich Hill is just hilarious, funny. Yeah, everybody's really accepted me and just kind of, yeah, just been really cool toward the moment because, it kind of got hectic for a while for me. And, you've been in some clubhouses before where the vibes kind of just, weird, kind of like somebody's getting some love, other guys are kind of like side eyeing them. And it hasn't been like that at all. Everyone's got each other's backs, and, the clubhouse is, it's Hedges has been awesome. He invited me to the back of the plane yesterday, which was cool. I was sitting up at the front, didn't really know what to do. And he goes, "Hey, Madge, when we take off, come to the back." Guys playing cards. Definitely more my vibe. So, yeah, it's clubhouse has been awesome, man.
Well, let me tell you, Madge, like all these guys being cool to you, like that's great. But that's just a testament to, like, I've seen the videos, like you going in the clubhouse, guys high fiving, hugging you. That's a testament to you and how you go about your business, and you've done it the right way, man. And I think that's why everyone is so welcoming and just legitimately happy for you. And like that's how I felt. And I just want to continue to say how proud I am, how awesome this is for you, and I'm glad you're getting to experience it. And like I said, man, it's just a testament to how you've gone about your business, and it's really cool to see whenever you got cut off. I was telling Kratzy and Scott, like, what you were able to do to me is more impressive than guys playing 20 years in the big leagues, because like, yeah, the big leagues is hard and you got to be a really good player, but it's nice. The big leagues is nice. You stay at the nicest hotels, you're on chartered flights, this and that, but like for you to keep going, to grind like you've done for as long as you did, and to finally get that call, man, like, honestly, and for Krabby to be the one to tell you, I had Krabby in Texas, and I'm boys with him.
He's awesome,
and
man.
he told me the other day, he's like, I sent my first call up. He didn't tell me who it was, and then I saw the video. It was you. I texted him. I said, dude, it was Madge. You didn't tell me. I said, come on, man. He goes, oh man, my bad. But no, man, I couldn't be more happy for you, dude. But just, you've done it the right way, man. And we're all, dude. It's just a cool thing to see. And like I said, dude, I'm locked in on the Pirates right now.
Dude, it's cool. It's cool being on here with you, because I was like, when I came in, you were the older guy. We played the same positions. You were kind of the guy that I watched and tried to learn from, throughout the process. Like, the way you went about your business, and then, you'd get 2 hits a night. So it's like, all right, how's this guy doing it? Like, what's he do pregame? So, I mean, guys like you, grinders like you too.
I go to Subway and get 2 chocolate chip cookies before every minor league game.
Yeah, Taco Bell has been hot for me.
Ooh,
that's usually what I go with.
And that's pre-game?
No, it's more post. I go post.
Good. I was like, pre-game, you'd be back in the clubhouse at about the 3rd inning.
That's a bold move, pre-game. Bold move. Madge, I got one question for it. I lied. I got a million questions, but we only have a certain amount of time in your day. Who is that guy for you that you're like, man, like, and maybe you haven't had time to reflect on it, but who's that guy for you that when you think of him, and maybe you're not a tear up guy, maybe you're not a crying guy, but who's that guy for you when you think about it, you're like, if it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't have had this opportunity, whether it's a player, a coach. Shoot, it could even be Shelty being like, hey, I really like this guy. Let's call him up. Like, who is that guy for you?
Jeez, that's a tough question for me. It's because there's just been so many. I mean, I think obviously Shelty, being ultimately the guy that makes the decisions. Obviously the opportunity that none of this would ever happen if it wasn't for him. But guys like, I mean, even guys like Brock, guys like Mike Napoli, Jack Murphy, John Andrioli, Sherman Johnson. I mean, the list is endless for me, because I've played with so many different players and so many different people, and you that's kind of what got me through a lot of my seasons, was the clubhouse. If I didn't play with so many great players and good dudes, and good players too that understood the game and just brought it every day, and loved to grind out seasons, because there was a couple seasons in there where it was really hard. The team was kind of soft for me, and I didn't really relate, but most of it was just a lot of good dudes that wanted to grind every day, and it kept me going, especially later in my career when I was older. It helped, because if it was dead and it was just me, I definitely wouldn't have made it, but I had a lot of help along the way.
Last one, then we'll let you jump. I know you got stuff to do and would love to talk down the road again. Drew, what were you going to do if you stopped all those years? You're like, I don't know, I should stop. And how tough was it financially anyway? But did you think about what was next?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it a lot. I bartended for a little bit, which honestly was kind of fun, but I don't think you can make a career out of that. And then I was actually this past off season, I worked as an Orange Theory fitness coach. So I mean, I always thought about it, maybe get into like a real estate type thing, or the world kind of shifted to where everyone was starting their own business too. So I was like, all right, maybe I can try to work my way into being creative and try to develop something, some like maybe a deodorant strip. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I thought a lot about different career paths, and because I mean the minor leagues got really tough financially. I mean, a lot of years I was paying to play, so yeah, I was definitely thought about that.
That's awesome, man. Awesome talking to you. Obviously, these guys could go forever, but go have a blast at the ballpark. Enjoy every moment. Go get shit done, and we'll watch you on TV later, man.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I'm
Still
gonna
looking
see
for
that first hit, Drew.
Hell
Hey,
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna see it.
I know.
Don't you worry. We're gonna get in there. Shelty, if you're watching, if you're listening, put him in.
Let's go.
We need
Let's
a hit.
go, Drew.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You're the man, Drew.
Cheers. Thanks, Drew.